Texas homeowners often overpay property taxes. Understanding exemptions is one way to protect your investment. I'm Lauren, and this is Raul with the Schrader Group. Let's talk about home exemptions and how they can make a real difference. What are the best ways for homeowners in Texas to save on property taxes?
Yeah, so I think the first thing is filing your homestead exemption, right? So in Texas, every household family is entitled to one per family, right? So sometimes we can see a 20% savings just by filing your homestead exemption. So I think that's the easiest way. We're very military friendly here in Texas. So a lot of people will come, and if they're rated on any kind of eligibility with deductions, those are always a good way to claim against your exemptions as well. But the exemptions are really good as long as you know what you're looking for, right? Because if you're qualified for over 65, well, and your threshold on your school district tax doesn't go up any higher. But there's just a lot of things that go into play. Sometimes there's people that have disabilities. Well, sometimes that disability can help in savings on your taxes as well. But I think there's a couple ways that your homestead is going to help you, right? Number one, you get noticed every time they're going to try to do adjustment to your house. So like, hey, Lauren, your house is worth 300 grand, but next year it might be worth 350. Well, that might be a huge jump. So you have an opportunity to protest that as well. Homestead is just really important. You're protected in many fashions. Sometimes we've seen movie stars or athletes go bankrupt, but their house is still there intact because it's protected from creditors and certain types of bankruptcies and things of that nature. But essentially, just think of it as I'm going to be saving money because this is my homestead, and that's a plus right there. But you got to be able to make sure that your values are correct, right? Because I think that's the biggest way you'll see a jump in your monthly payment because your rate should be fixed for the most part. So the only way it's going to adjust is if we either get a bump in our tax appraisal, if you will, or if your insurance goes up.
How much does the homestead exemption save?
So overall, what I've seen is like, say your house is worth 300 grand, you should be paying maybe, I don't know, somewhere in the ballpark of $5,700 or whatever it might be. Most of the time I see it drop about 20% just with having the homestead. I mean, there's other exemptions that kick into play. But what's really cool about Texas is they raise the exemption number to 140,000. So if like your house is worth 300K, you reduce to 140 on certain numbers, and that reduces your overall obligation to pay. So basically, it's a long story of saying it's going to save you money, but you have to apply for it because if you don't apply for it, you're not going to get the benefit.
Right.
And partially, you got to get your driver's license changed because if your driver's license doesn't read the new address, you won't be able to apply, and then you're just going to push it back, and push it back.
What are some of the basic requirements?
Yeah, so you got to only have one homestead, right? So like if you purchase another house, you can't have two homesteads, right? You got to pick which one you're going to put the homestead on. You got to have your driver's license read the address of the house we're trying to put the homestead on. Now, the other requirements would be, number one, it's deeded in your name, right? It can't be deeded in grandma's name and you're trying to take advantage of that homestead. You also got to be able to, if you're going to pull like over 65 or any kind of VA entitlements or anything like that, you got to actually have the proof to go ahead and justify that as well. So there's a VA eligibility letter that you could send in, or if you have any kind of disabilities with the state or whatnot, you could go ahead and get that form as well.
So how do you file for a homestead exemption?
Well, the easiest thing is you just got to change your driver's license. You have to own the home once you get the deed and you're able to prove that. You just got to change your driver's license. And there's two ways you could do it. You could do it online or you can mail in a form and send it to your local appraisal district. Part of that is there's a misconception that people think that they got to be in the house for 2 years, 1 full year, whatever it might be. My advice is just go ahead and file it right when you get it because then you're able to get into the system. You might not see the adjustment right away, but you'll at least be in the system, which helps for that. But remember, your driver's license is the biggest key to that. It has to match the address you're trying to file the homestead on.
What other homestead-related exemptions can save homeowners money?
So outside of the big one, right, that you got to file, no one's going to do it for you. So you got to go make sure you do that. There's an over 65, which caps it. So then it doesn't continue to rise on you. We have the disabled homeowner. And then also if you're VA and have any kind of entitlements through the VA, you could plug those along with it. And then just depending on how deep you get into, there's certain agricultural exemptions and things like that you could tag along to property.
When does it make the most sense to protest your property taxes?
Every single year. And the reason I say that is it serves two purposes. Number one, you cross-check whether that value is actually accurate. And number two, it keeps the ceiling from going up so high. So the county has about a 93% acceptance rate, which means you think your house is worth 300, I think it's worth 400. They figure out somewhere in the middle where that value is without the actual going through the protest and all that kind of hearing stuff. But if you continue to protest every single year, and I encourage everyone to get in the habit of doing that, it creates that ceiling from getting too far out of control, because they'll jump up on you and it's a lot harder to come backwards versus very slow, steady increases. And if you really think about it, San Antonio is about a 4 to 6% appreciation roll year over year, right? So if they jump like we saw in COVID, so some jumped to $100,000 to $200,000 in taxable value. Sometimes the house wasn't worth that, and then you're paying all that extra tax. It could cost the family of the household $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 more than what it should be.
Is there anything else you think homeowners should know about protesting?
Yeah, it's free. So you definitely want to do it. That's why I say you always want to go ahead and protest. It's free for the residents in the county. If you want any kind of assistance, we offer complimentary comparable market analysis, or CMAs, that will give you more of a baseline of what to talk about when you are actually trying to protest it. Just saying that I don't want my value to be 400 grand is not a good argument. But if you say that 3 houses around my neighborhood for like property, for like square footage, for like 1-story, 2-story, also for 250, 260, or X amount of square foot, that's a better argument to get your reduction in place with the county. And really, if you think about it, all this is to save money for the homeowner. That way you can get the biggest bang for your buck.
And who doesn't want to do that?
Home
ownership matters, and protecting your property tax options is part of protecting your investment.
Thank you all so much for watching. As always, please like and subscribe, and please have a blessed day.